I'm a poet and a writer, and on this channel I do reactions to K-pop videos, specifically lyric reactions and breakdowns. And today I wanted to do a video that's a little bit more like comforting. I know I've already done a reaction to Spring Day and breakdown, but it was kind of early on in my channel and I didn't really know what I was doing yet, so this will hopefully be a more comprehensive breakdown, more like what I've been doing recently. I really want to do Spring Day because it's a song that's like really comforting to me. And so recently I've been playing like this song a lot, just kind of helped me. And Kim Sung-min from Stray Kids did a really gorgeous cover of Justin Bieber's Ghost. That song also is just like, it's hitting the correct feels for me right now. There's songs I'd recommend if you're also kind of having a hard time. I think by now we've all heard about Moonbin's passing from Astro. I have kind of a like odd relationship with the news. Astro's not a group I ever really got into. They simply just weren't something that was like necessarily on my radar, which is gonna sound weird because the thing is, I have a person on Tumblr who I've followed for just forever who's obsessed with Moonbin. I could recognize Moonbin in a crowd like probably before I could recognize all of BTS and like name them reliably. Like I've known who Moonbin is for a really long time, even though I've just not been into the group. And so it's kind of like that, like I'd see him in a crowd or something or at an event or like in a show, I'd be like, oh look, it's Moonbin. But I never really got into them, didn't like necessarily seek them out. I just was aware of who Moonbin was for a really long time. And so it was kind of the same way with the news. That Tumblr user was then the way I found out about it. He was so young. And I think one of the things that it makes me think about is just that a 25-year-old and a 16-year-old have nothing in common. Not a thing in common. Like that's such a huge portion of your life that's so different. And I think one of the things you realize when you hit 30 though, even though a 25-year-old has nothing in common with a 16-year-old, they still have more in common with that 16-year-old than they do with a 30-year-old. There's so much growing up and there's so much more life there is to live when you're essentially still a kid. Becoming an adult in any country is such an arbitrary age. Like it's such an arbitrary number. It's sort of like one day you're like treated as a child and you're like the laws affect you as a child, and the next day you're treated as an adult and the laws affect you as an adult. Nothing changes like mentally for you. Nothing changes physically even. The changes are so small and slight that even if you're actively like trying to bridge over, trying to be an adult, you still only have the life experience of a child, you know? And so no matter the circumstance, no matter how it happens, anytime someone so young dies, it's just like, I don't know, it's a certain kind of tragedy, you know? My grandmother died recently. That's kind of what I've been not up for doing too much, honestly. And I'm sort of not ready to break down about it yet, even though obviously I'm in tears at the moment. I have so much going on. It's one of those things that like, it's so much easier to not think about it and then deal with it later. So I'm at that point right now. She was 90. She had lived so many years, and like just thinking back on it, that the lifetime that I knew her, she had already lived so many more years than I've currently lived now. Like there's so much to life. Like by the time I met someone who'd been in my life my entire life, she had lived 2 of my lifetimes up to this point. Life is long and there are a lot of changes that happen, and there are a lot of opportunities to either make those changes or to escape things that you feel like you can't change. And then apart from that, horrible tragedies just happen sometimes. However you're feeling about that, however you're processing and like dealing with it, I hope you realize that living is the most important thing. Like continuing to not give up is the most important thing. However hopeless you're feeling, however sad you are, like just be sad, just feel it. It's one of the emotions. Like I realize I just said at the moment I can't like stop and be sad. I need to be sad later. Knowing that I'm going to have the time at some point to just be sad is helping me. Just to make that clear. Sometimes you just need to let it out. And sometimes it comes out at like 3 a.m. and you just have to go and like sit and write some poetry, and that can be really, really cathartic. And like whatever way you need to deal with things, I think you should deal with them. One of the things that's helping me is this song. I mean, people have said a million things about Spring Day. It is a gorgeous, incredible song. It has a beautiful dance to it. I mean, BTS are the masters of, you know, that they do better than anyone, where they jump to exactly the same height and then their feet hit the floor at exactly the same moment. And you know, they must have worked so hard on that because they are experts. Doesn't matter if someone is like a little behind or a little ahead in the choreography, when their feet come up and when they hit the floor, it is precisely the same. it's nuts, to the point where like they're known for like making the stage shake because the synchronicity of their feet hitting the floor is so perfect. And you know they work real hard for that. But this is one of the songs that like the dance is impressive and it has those moments in it that are just like will floor you. Which is why when I initially did a reaction, I did it to the dance. This I want to do it to the music video. And I know Spring Day was written after the ferry tragedy. I'm not going to say much on that because I don't have any expertise, but if you didn't know about it or if you haven't seen this video, Italian Army did an outstanding job of just interpreting the music video and also explaining the events that led up to basically the creation of the song, and what was going on politically at the time. If you're prepared to hear some really awful, awful, horrible things, because it was a horrific tragedy, if you're prepared for that, I'm going to link that video down below so you can also understand that. But otherwise, we're just going to look at Spring Day and enjoy the song, and look really into the lyrics because that's what we're all about here. Yeah, let's just jump into it because sometimes it's the cure you need is just listening to some music, right? Okay, and so for that first part, I think it is interesting that in the initial song, the initial recording, RM recorded it, and I believe it was definitely one of two things. I believe he was uncomfortable singing it live, and so J-Hope took over. But also then he goes into the rap immediately, so it's a long period of RM, which is hard to then stage. On stage, J-Hope has always sung this part, which is interesting. They have very different tones to their voices. It's this part, I miss you, and saying this makes me miss you even more, which is of course just true. Like when you admit it, you have to feel things, which is why I'm tearing up. You can't not think about something if you're talking about it. And sometimes that's what you need. Miss you even though I'm looking at your photo, and time's so cruel. I hate us. Seeing each other for once is now so hard between us. Like we're not able to meet up. Like time is cruel. And so the cold then and the winter is the metaphor for being apart, really. So it's all winter here, even in August. And so you have the image of the cold. A lot of the like little detail things are explained by Italian Army, so you can look into that. But even in August, one of the hottest months of the year for most places, certainly here, and I believe in Korea also, it's still winter. Like it's still sad, it's still dark, it's still cold. My heart is running on the time alone on the Snowpiercer, which is a movie where the Snowpiercer is, you know, going around the world basically to keep people alive because the world is frozen over. So it's always cold, it's always sad, it's always dark. Even though I'm still living on this bubble, I want to get to the other side of the earth holding your hand. I want to put an end to this winter. I want to be with you and make the sadness end. And how much longing should we see snowing down to the days of spring, friend? How much of this sadness are we going to have to see? How much is going to have to bury me? How much snow is going to have to fall before spring comes, before there's happiness and light again, before I get to see you again? I think these are some of the best lines written, honestly. This is like the best shot. Them all like pelting him with food is really funny. Tiny dust floating in the air. You know, like when it's like still cold and the sun is coming in the window and you just see the little dust particles in the air. So like tiny dust floating in the air. Will I get to you a little faster if I was the snow in the air? Like, could I reach you if I was just the snow? Because it's blanketing everything. It's covering everything, right? So if I was that, could I like fall on you? Could I reach you faster? So, I don't know. I think that is a gorgeous image. A lot of these are RM lyrics. He was the chief lyricist for this song. And so here, snowflakes fall down and get away little by little. So not only are they falling down, but they're also like blowing away in the wind. Little by little, they're leaving also. The snow is being personified as the missing you. I feel the feeling of missing you is the snow falling and like a lot of snow and then also blowing away, melting, going away. This cycle almost of the snow is the same cycle as the missing. Also, this song was made for Taehyung's voice. He has that soul cry to his voice. There's no other voice that quite sounds like it. He does it so well, and it's partly his interest in things like blues and jazz that makes him able to make that really soulful cry in his voice. And this song, there are unbelievable covers of Spring Day. People have covered it and it is so gorgeous. I mean, there are some of the most beautiful covers of this song out there. The one thing that it's lacking in all of those covers is Taehyung's parts. To me, just that way he's able to portray the emotion. And he does that in this song specifically better than any of the other members. And he just injects that longing and sadness and almost hopefulness into every word, and you hear it. You can hear when he takes over and it punches you in the chest a little bit. It's just perfectly like attuned to his voice, and it is the one thing that no other cover that I've heard so far hits in the same manner. Like the lines that are Taehyung's, nobody else can make those punch the way he punches you, even though they sing it so well. But this is the first section, and then the next, you know the part that you know it all. You're my best friend. He destroys you with that line. We're gonna get there, but how long do I have to wait? How many sleepless nights do I have to spend? Like, is missing you. How much am I going to just exist here, not able to, move past it, not even able to sleep? Like, how long am I going to have to be sad before we're together again? To see you, to meet you. And I believe I looked this up one time because B2B's miss you uses a different form of I miss you, and I believe that what I looked up, and correct me if I'm wrong, the term that they used, which of course my phone is up here, but the term that they used is for the kind of missing where you'll never see the person again, like a forever missing, you're gone. Term that BTS are using here, 보고 싶다, is for like I miss you but I'm going to go see you now, like I miss you and you're reachable still, which is an interesting concept because the song very much is like we can get back together, we can see each other, and it being about, people losing their lives it hits such a different way, doesn't it? I'm so longing to go see you again that I would use a term for missing that means like you're still there, you're still in reach. Like if I were just the snow, I could reach you, right? Passing by the cold edge of winter. Winter's coming to an end. We're passing by the edge of it. And they're beginning to gather together also. It's not just the memories. BTS often do the memories, because it's part of the storyline as well. The memories where they're all together. The isolation in the current era, and then the slowly gathering and becoming back together, and the happiness comes with the togetherness. That's a theme throughout their music videos, but in this one especially, we have the small groups getting back together. We're passing by the cold edge of winter until the days of spring. And again, all the symbolism, Italian Army goes over it so clearly in what's going on in this music video. So if you feel like I'm missing things, I'm just skipping them on purpose because I'm never going to explain it as well as they did. Until the days of the flower blossoms, which is here in the Seattle area. We have outstanding cherry blossoms. It's so beautiful here. I mean, it's like a major tragedy when they're ripping down any trees that blossom because it's so stunning here. But it's not to the extent that it is in Korea and also Japan. And of course, Japan is the one who's known for it. They take so much pride in their cherry blossoms. It's a huge cultural event. Just sitting and looking at the cherry blossoms has a whole word for it, right? And also in Korea, like when the flowers blossom, it's so stunningly beautiful. You can't help but feel like, spring is here. We've hit a new chapter of our life. And that comes up constantly. And like, Korea has very cold, harsh winters. Very, very cold. So when the cherry blossoms bloom and you're like, winter's finally over, I'm sure it's a mega relief. It comes up a lot, like waiting for spring, and that moment of when the blossoms happen is like a passage through, and it's oftentimes either a coming of age or it's coming of happiness after sorrow, and it comes up again and again and again in lyrics. But in this one also, until the days of the flower blossoms, until the spring is really here, until the winter is fully over. And please stay there a little longer. Like, wait for me, don't go somewhere I can't reach you. And I love that Suga's lines could be taken as like a relationship, or it could be taken as someone gone suddenly out of your life. Is it you who changed, or is it me? I hate this moment, this time flowing. Like, I want everything to stand still. Like, which of us changed? But we are changed, just like everyone, Like, we can't stop it. Time moves. We change. Even though I hate that. I hate that we're not the same people as we were last time I saw you. And yes, I hate that you left me. I hate that you're not here anymore. But I never stop thinking about you, not even a day. Honestly, I miss you, but I'll erase you. Because it hurts less than to blame you. And the blame too, like it hurts less. It hurts. I think we talked about this at the beginning, right? It hurts less to not think about you. If I think about you, I miss you. And I do miss you, but I'll try and not think. I'll try and just erase you from my life, just push you away. Because that would hurt less than the gap you've left. That would hurt less than to blame you for not being here, which you can't help but do, right? We were just like, oh, it's your fault. You've passed on. You've died. Whether it was, completely natural or not, it hurts less to even think about it and therefore blame you than it does to just not think about you at all. And of course, I have to talk about this lyric by itself. I try to exhale you in pain like smoke, like white smoke. We're in the winter still. We're passing into the spring, but we're still in winter. And the breath, just letting out this deep sigh. I try to exhale you. I try to sigh you out, in pain. Like I try to sigh you out. Just and the smoke in the air that your breath forms, like smoke, like white smoke. That image to me is so clear. It's just an incredible line, right? Like, you feel the sadness and you also see the exact image, like just stunning. Talking about Suga's lines, I say I'll erase you. I say I'll forget about you. I say I won't talk about you, but I can't really let you go yet. Like, I'm not past this. I'm still sad. Like, even though we're passing into spring, we're headed into spring, I can't just let go of you. Like, even if the seasons change, I'm gonna miss you. I'm going to want to be with you. I'm going to remember you. Oh, okay, we're getting into it. But this, gotta watch Italian Army's video for all of the breakdown. But this, where we go back into those isolation moments in the video. But when we come back together again, there's that moment of happiness and joy. And they're running again. And for BTS, that's, you know, that's carrying the story forward. Like now we're running together again. That should be happy. And that moment of illusion breaks with the train, where Jungkook sees himself on the train. In that moment, especially, and I think, especially like the first time many people watch this video when they're not intimately familiar with all of the boys, you might be like, who was on the train? And not recognize that. But then recognizing that it's Jungkook in both places hits you with that like horribly deep sad emotion of like something is wrong here, basically, right? Like they've done this video is so well done. It's so subtle and understated about very like overt and direct things. It's beautiful. Okay, and then we get into that exact part I was talking about, that I've not yet heard anyone else hit this line this way, that just punches you absolutely in the gut. And I have heard some incredible covers, you guys, of this song, and I do think this song just made for Taehyung's voice. So here we go. Do you hear that? We're gonna listen to it twice. We're just gonna listen to it twice. You know it all. You're my best friend. You're someone who's so close to me. And the morning will come again. So now it's not only dark and cold in winter, it's also night. And the morning and the spring then being the same thing, that the happiness will come again. The time we're together will come again. We're getting into it. We're getting into the change in the song, and there's always a change in the song. And I think there are songs out there that do changes in them where you're just like, that is a different song right now. But I always feel like being BTS has done it. It feels like it's an extension of the song, like we've morphed into something. We're still on the same song, but now this is more, this is different, you know? And this especially, where we've moved out of winter. No darkness, no season can last forever. And this part is so key. Like, even the missing you, the being sad, nothing can last forever. The seasons will change. They'll move on without you. Spring is gonna come whether you're ready for it or not. And that spring, of course, still being that metaphor, still being that hopefulness that either we'll see each other again, or just the pain won't last. Okay, and I love this translation, and I know there are a lot of other translations, and I think some of them are more accurate to what's actually being said, but I love this one because a lot of the other ones are like acknowledging that there are cherry blossoms falling, that now the spring has come, now we are in cherry blossom season, and a lot of stages will then be like, here are the cherry blossoms at this point, right? But in this translation, maybe it's cherry blossoms. It has that feeling of trying to trick yourself, that we've been watching the snow fall and pile up and float away and all those things. But in this moment, it's almost got that feeling of trying to trick yourself, right? Like maybe these aren't snowflakes. Maybe this is the cherry blossoms. Maybe spring is already here. Maybe, you know, the morning came and now it's spring in my mind. Like maybe I can be happy even though the snow is still falling, right? I love that in this translation, even though I do not think in the Korean that's the way it translates. This one is my favorite because of that sort of ambiguity right there, right? So maybe it's cherry blossoms and the winter will be over. Again, trying to fool yourself. And I miss you, I miss you. Okay, and then now we're coming all back together again, which is a symbol of the happiness is coming. Wait a little bit, just a few more nights. Like, hold on for me. I'll be there to see you. I'll come for you. You don't have to wait anymore. So what did you think? It is one of the best songs of all time to me. It hits the same way every single time I listen to it. Every cover I've heard of it is spectacular, and yet I still end up coming back and preferring the BTS version. I love their performances of it. I find it very comforting. I love the nuance that they've put into it, the absolute poetry, and the way the song just builds into this hopefulness, even though it remains so sad the whole way through. Like, it's a gorgeous song. It's a gorgeous piece. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Like, things can be really hard, and luckily music is there for us, and we can be there for each other. Try to be kind to people as much as possible. Life is longer than you think, and you have multiple opportunities to change the trajectory that you're on. Like, if you're a teenager, eventually you're going to be an adult, and you're going to escape the things that are haunting you as a teenager. And those years are going to come very, very quickly. They're going to feel like they're so far away, but they're going to suddenly be here. And then you're going to hit a whole new rocky area. I mean, like, turning 26 is the hardest year, I think, ever. Being a 26-year-old is the worst. And that's going to happen. You're going to be 26 at some point. But then you're going to be 27 before you know it. The years will keep on moving. They'll keep on changing, and you're going to have new opportunities. The traps you were in as a teenager, you'll escape. And the traps you're in as a 20-year-old, you will also escape. There will be new opportunities for you as you move into a more true adulthood. Honestly, as you head into 30, suddenly things will affect you differently. You're gonna have new chances, new opportunities. Like, you will have new things, and they're coming. And it may feel far away, and it may feel like it couldn't happen for you, but like, those things are coming. So even if all you can do is just wait and hold on, just wait and hold on. If you need to cry, cry. It's okay to cry and be sad. It's okay to write terrible poetry at 3 a.m. to make yourself feel better. It's okay to, be angry. Feel what you need to feel. Keep living. Because no matter what, spring comes. Things will still be a little inconsistent probably for a little while. Like I said, I'm dealing with a lot. Not just my grandma dying, but I'm moving too. Like, the timing couldn't be worse. We'll all just process what we need to process in our own time. If the videos are coming kind of slow, or I'm just doing like what I want and not like things that are coming out or things that you think I promised to do, like, I'll get to them eventually. Life is longer than you think it's gonna be. I post videos normally on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.